How do you define success?
I define success as having a staff that is cohesive, that works in collaboration with each other, having parents that are, they know who the principal is, they see me, they recognize me as the leader of the building, they're not afraid to contact me if they have any concerns. I define success as having brought all of my departments together when I took over this building. We had separate departments that were not working together at all. They were operating on their own. There was a lot of competition and divisiveness going on when they all feed into each other and we all have a same common goal. So getting my staff to recognize that, I would determine as one of my greatest successes in my first year of being a principal last year.
What are the most essential components of a principal's job, and what skill sets should every principal possess?
The most important components would be to believe in my staff, to focus on their strengths, to work as a collaborative team and to encourage that teamwork, to build relationships with my staff so that they know that they can come to me, they're not afraid to take risks, and to make sure that their voices are heard and that we all work together towards a common goal of keeping our children first. Skills that a principal requires to be successful would be refereeing, to know when to drop something, to pick your battles, to set policies and procedures that your staff has input on so that they're more receptive to following those procedures because they had a say in it. And to be kind to yourself and to others, even as an administrator. We don't always do that. And most importantly, to have a sense of humor and to find the humor in the small parts of the day, especially on walkthroughs. You never know what's going to happen.
What data should be analyzed in your school to determine growth and progress?
First and foremost, attendance. Attendance is so important. Getting our parents to understand that their child needs to be in school and they need to be here on time is a great opportunity for them. And it's also one of my greatest challenges. That data matching up with, we have so many different programs in our building. One of them being our Birth Through 5 program. Their success is pretty much measured on how many children, families they're able to service, and then getting those families the services that they need outside of our district. Our Project Find department, which evaluates children, right now is a very busy time for them. So seeing how their schedule is and making sure that they have the time available to get the children evaluated that we need to. Our Early On department, we look at their data, how many families they're servicing, who is servicing which other services we need involved. We need to involve PT, OT, SLPs, getting those evaluations done within our 45-day period, and working as a team to make sure that we are servicing those families. Those go into our ECDD program, which is our early childhood developmental delay, making sure that our teachers have goals that their children can meet, making sure that we're revisiting the goals through IEPs and reads. And we're doing a lot of amendments right now because some of our goals are not lining up to what we need them to be for the children in the classroom. Also making sure that we're constantly visiting and making sure that our children are meeting those individual goals. And our pre-K program, it's using our core advantage and our high scope key developmental indicators to make sure that our children are being exposed to those indicators so that we can get really good anecdotal notes and progress on them. Also, the data that we also look at, we use an early screening inventory that also helps us to see any of our pre-K students that may need some other help and services.
How will you utilize the staff around you to grow and improve?
I think that I've already used the staff around me to grow and improve. When I first took this position, I had to learn very quickly that it was not all about me, that I had 30 other people to think about besides the children in my building. It took a lot of work to bring my staff together. You know, they were very divided, to build those relationships with them, to build the relationships with each other, to get them to see that we were all working towards a common goal, that we weren't in competition for each other. Nobody was an island, to make sure, and I think that I've been really successful in making sure that they are seeing each other and that they actually reach out to each other and have better relationships.
What would you have done differently last year?
Last year was a huge challenge with it being COVID, and we went from having a virtual to having a in-person learning. I think I would have made that transition a little bit smoother for my teachers by prepping them a little bit more and by really sitting down with them. I made a lot of decisions on my own, and I wish I would have involved them more into the decision making. Although a lot of that decision making came down from over my head. So there wasn't a lot of extra say. I really wish that there would have been. I wish that I would have supported my teachers a little bit more. I was struggling a lot with my first year, and I don't think that I was as effective as much of an administrator as I thought I wanted to be.
Why do you feel it's important to include your staff in decision making?
I believe that it's important to involve my staff in decision making because they are the front line. They are the ones who have the knowledge, and they might think of things that I wouldn't. I was starting to look through things as an administrator and through a different lens that I forgot to use my teacher lens at times. And I needed a reminder at times to think about what it was like to be a teacher and what it felt like to be a teacher during the pandemic.
What is your focus on this year?
This year, my focus is on continuing to build those relationships that I focused on last year. I have a lot of really new teachers to make sure that I have mentoring in place for them. And I'm also working on establishing policies and procedures with my staff to streamline so that everybody's on the same page and everybody knows the same expectation for everyone to make their jobs easier and to make my job easier.
Do you think you will be successful at completing those tasks?
I hope that I will be successful at completing those tasks. I have worked on quite a few already. We put policies and procedures in place for absences, for entering subs, even for bringing concerns to me or to the union regarding things that are going on in our building. We also put policies and procedures in for our parents and our students, and I think that we are on the right track right now. But those are ever changing, so they might not be successful. They might not need to be successful, just as long as we are working together as a staff and we are making sure that we're all working towards a common goal.
You mentioned earlier that you had several different programs in your building. Did you find that easy or difficult to try and learn the different programs?
It was very difficult. The easiest one for me was pre-K because I had been in pre-K for 16 years. I didn't have a lot of experience with our special ed programs. So to suddenly be put into a building where there's 3 different special ed departments was very difficult. I had to learn very, very quickly the differences between ECDD and pre-K. They're a half-day program, pre-K is a full-day program. They have different funding. They have different guidelines. Their children have different goals. Trying to find common ground between the 2 programs was very difficult. And then having early on, which is home visitors, and birth through 5, which are home visitors, trying to keep track and keep them on track and make sure that everybody was able to complete their jobs and work together was very difficult. Then we had a little bit of a struggle with our project find coordinator also because she had applied for the position that I had. So it took a lot of winning people over and building those relationships to get where we are.
Sounds like you had some struggles in this building at first.
I really did. But I think that made me a stronger leader, and it helped me persevere, and it helped my staff to come together because not only were they learning about me, but I was learning about them, and they helped me learn things about myself that I didn't realize, how strong I could be, how patient I could be, and to remember to be fair. Thank you.